Morning and welcome to Seven Shepherds Farm. We got a winter storm coming in this weekend. Tomorrow it's going to get down to about 5 degrees, and then we have somewhere around 8 inches, 4 to 8 inches of snow coming after that. So we want to get these sheep moved into a little more protected paddock. So we're going to move them into, it's about 50 acres. Probably 2/3 of it's woods and a lot of cedars and draws. So they'll be able to hunker down and wait out that storm. And it's also got grass in it, probably a foot tall. So it's probably the best area to put them in for this winter storm to get them through that. So we're going to go ahead and move them this morning, get them in there, and get the water tanks and everything set up. So come along while we get them all moved and get everything set up, ready for this winter storm. I just want to show everybody kind of some of the reasons we moved them into this paddock. Like I said, it's about 50 acres. It's a big chunk. We haven't had sheep in there all year, so the grass is probably the longest grass we have left on the farm. So that's one reason. The grass is over a foot tall, so as long as we don't get, 8 or 12 inches of snow, they'll still have grass sticking out so they can eat that. If they do eat it down and the snow covers it, we'll just feed them hay. And then the other reason we brought them in here, as you can see, we have a lot of woods. So probably 2/3 of this paddock is woods. We have a lot of cedar trees, which would be good for the snow. It's kind of almost like a little outdoor barn, basically. So I have several draws to get into. One down on this side, and then this area off to my left here, it's probably 15 acres of woods. So just a deep woods, and it has a big valley in there. So they can get down in there and get out of the wind Hopefully most of the trees will hold up, most of the snow, so they're not buried in snow. Mainly just worried about the lambs. That's why we don't lamb in January or December or February, because we don't have a barn to put them in. But we didn't really have a choice this time. We didn't know they were bred when we bought them, so they just started lambing. But we're trying to make the best out of that situation, and hopefully they'll be okay. He said this is probably the best area on the farm for them to be in. We have a draw over here, and then up on this other hillside, we have some really thick cedar trees. So even if we do get as much snow as what they're talking about, typically with cedar trees, they'll hold that snow up. So they'll have some little more open ground underneath there. So hopefully at least the lambs can get in there and get out of that snow. They're the ones. The sheep, it's really not going to bother, I don't think. But we had negative temperature. It was like negative 10 last year at one point, and the adult sheep, it really doesn't bother. They're kind of built for that. And the dogs, they're kind of built for it too. I mean, they've been bred for a couple thousand years for doing this job. So the snow and the cold, it's not going to bother the dogs or the mature sheep. Just all these little lambs that were unexpected that we're worried about. So if we get over this hillside here, see all the sheep already fanned out, trying to get to the best grass before anybody else does. But
and it's tall. I mean, you can see.
Yeah,
most of this grass over a foot tall.
Some of it's over, but it's knee high or more in here for me. So for stockpiled forage,
there's green grass underneath here.
For stockpiled forage, it's still in good shape. It's green. There's definitely green grass down in there. See, like right there. I mean, it's green. Obviously the tops are brown, and all like the warm season grasses that were here this summer are brown, but there's still fescue down in there that's green. So this is kind of a little bit of a neglected part of the farm. You can see by all the broom sedge. So it'd be nice to get these sheep. We wanted to get the sheep on here anyway. So it's a good time to do it. Like I said, we can feed hay up here if we need to. We're just going to kind of play that one as the days go by. We're probably going to leave them in here as long as it takes to get basically until the snow starts to kind of melt and the weather straightens out. We'll leave them in this paddock. So if we need to haul them a few bales of hay, we'll do that. We'll just unroll it down these hillsides. But it all just depends on how much snow we get. So, like this area here, you can see all the cedar trees. And it's a really thick woods. So I think if the sheep get in there, the snow's not going to get that deep in that woods. So hopefully the little lambs will be able to get down in there and hunker down and stay warm. Most of them are a few days old at this point, or a couple weeks old even. I hope we don't have any lambs in this storm. So, but they've really slowed down on lambing the last couple days. So I'm hoping we'll be fine, but I guess time will tell.
Yeah, I think we're nearing the end of the lambing.
The dogs are checking the perimeter. I just saw one walk by in the woods there. So it's a big area. They took off about 10 minutes ago, and they still haven't quite made it all the way around it. But they're going to check everything out and drive all the coyotes off.
Yeah, the dogs are going to have their work cut out for them in here. That's why another reason we give them smaller paddocks. It just makes their job easier. But again, we didn't have much of a choice with the storm popping up like it did, and it's winter obviously, so these things are to be expected. There's one of them right there.
Yeah, there's Bjorn.
Yeah.
So
this is what we came up with. Move them in a new area of the farm that had lots of grass and lots of coverage, and we're gonna just make the best of it. Yep, check on them when we can, and anyways.
Yeah, we'll be out here at least twice a day checking on these things. So as soon as we can't see grass or we don't think they're getting enough, we'll just haul them some hay and just unroll it. I mean, it's not ideal, but we're not going to let them starve, that's for sure. So we have plenty of hay in the barn, so we got a 4-wheel drive tractor. We'll bring it out if we have to. Yeah, so we'll just make the best of it. So this is an area where we have a pond in here, but obviously the cold weather, we don't want them out on that pond. So we went ahead and fenced them off of it. So we're going to set up one of these portable tanks like we do in a lot of paddocks. And to kind of winterize this one, we're just going to put a siphon on it. So it'll have a little trickle of water coming out all the time, so this hydrant won't freeze up, because otherwise it would, with as cold as it's going to be, it would bust this pipe if we didn't put a siphon on this. So just running the same kind of setup we normally do here with this old mineral tub that we had a float on, and then so move it a little bit away from the fence and kind of get it somewhat level. And then once it's full, so we haven't used this hydrant in a while. It looks like it's got some milky looking water in there, so I'll just kind of drain it out. But once it's full, I'll go ahead and start the siphon on it, and then I'll be able to regulate how much water actually comes out. I'll just tie it to that barbed wire fence at a certain height, depending on how much water I want to come out of the siphon. So I'm going to use this old garden hose. I put a little weight on the end of it. This is going to be my siphon for this tank. So I put that metal weight on it so the sheep don't knock it out of the tank so easily. I just drop it to the bottom. I just kind of run this hose out downhill a little ways. I'm going to run it along this fence line so they're less likely to kind of get caught up in it. And then I just got to put a little, get the flow going, and then we'll be good. I hear it coming. There it is. As easy as that. Now we have a siphon. Now I just kind of watch it and see how much flow we really want. If I can shut it off, I can either make it flow a little faster by just keeping it low, or the higher I bring this in, the less water that's going to come out. So the bad part about putting it high in the air is the wind chill is going to be really low, so I don't want it to freeze there either. But see, I'd almost stopped it there. But I'll get it to the right amount of water coming out where I don't think it's going to freeze up, and then we'll leave it there. I'll just tie it to this barbed wire fence, and that should keep it open.
If you've been following our channel for a little while, you know the dog saga, the puppy saga. They're not wanting to move whenever we move the sheep, but they have finally figured out that when we move this dog feeder, we are moving into a new paddock. So they figured it out that if they want to be fed, they're going to follow this dog feeder, and it's really saved us a lot of headaches.
Everybody stay safe and warm through this winter storm, and thanks for watching.